So today's Shiur is sponsored Lzchus Moshe ben Shoshana Malka Ahuva. Moshe ben Shoshana Malka and Ahuva Miriam bas Rachel Eidel. They should have a lot of Lhatzlacha.
Amen.
Amen.
So Perek Lamed Gimel. So we're back after a little intermission. And when I say intermission, I mean, first of all, haven't been here the last 2 weeks, but also Perek Lamed Beis was an intermission. If you remember, we spoke about this at the time. Perek Lamed Beis is an interruption. Has to be a better word than interruption. We went off a little on a detour, on a tangent about Ahavas Yisrael, because it was related to what we were speaking about earlier about Simcha. Because as it turns out, as we learned, Ahavas Yisrael and Simcha, both of them come from the same place, emanate from the same place, which is the prioritization of the Neshamah over the Guf, the Nefesh Alakis over the Nefesh Bahamas. But now we're back to talking about Simcha. So Perek Lamed Aleph, chapter 31, we started speaking about Simcha, how to be happy, and there we spoke about that from where does Simcha derive. So we explained that Simcha comes from identifying with the Neshamah and taking joy in the joy of the Neshamah. And what is the joy of the Neshamah? Every single time a person learns Torah, every single time a person does a mitzvah, every single time a person davens. So for the Neshamah, that is incredible joy. To use the example that Alter Rabbi gave, the joy of a prince who was in captivity, who was released and is reunited with his father, the king. The same thing as the Neshamah is in captivity in the Guf. And every single time that the Neshamah is released, through the doing of a mitzvah, through studying Torah, the Neshamah experiences incredible simcha. And the question is, can we tap into that simcha? So that is the first type of joy that Alter Rebbe discusses. And now, today we're going to talk about a second and another way of obtaining joy. And let's do, without further ado, let's go inside. We're on page 82, Perek Lamed Gimel. Furthermore, Tihi Simchas HaNefesh Ha'amiti, the true simcha of the soul can be, ubifrat, and especially kisheroye benafshe, when a person sees by himself beitim mezumanim at certain times, shetzarich lezachecha la'ira, that we have to cleanse and to illuminate the neshama b'simchas levav, with the joy of the heart. Azai, then yamik machshavte, a person should contemplate deeply, v'yitzayir b'sichlei u'binasai, and actually picture in his mind and in his understanding inyan yichuda yizbarach ha'amiti, the concept of Hashem's unity. And I want to stop here for a moment because you're smiling.
I'm happy you're stopping here.
Okay, why are you happy that I'm stopping here?
Because this idea of the Achdus Hashem is something which I never really got a good handle on.
Oh, so you're excited to learn a little bit Achdus Hashem.
Yeah.
Okay, so for you who are excited about learning Achdus Hashem, so the bad news is we will be talking about Achdus Hashem today, but not at length. The reason why is because the Alter Rebbe is going to give over here in very short the Nakuda, the point which we discussed earlier at length in chapters 21 and 22. I'm sorry, that will be 20 and 21, sorry, Perek Chaf and Perek Chaf Aleph. Over there, the Alter Rebbe devotes 2 prakim to this concept. Over here, the Alter Rebbe is just this is going to be a refresher, a reminder. So for the full topic, you have to go back and you have to look at listen to those Shiur on Perek Chaf Aleph. But we have to stop here for another reason. And the reason we have to stop over here is because we are talking here, so we're saying what should be the simcha? The simcha should be through the idea of envisioning in one's mind and contemplating the idea of Hashem's unity, the idea of Achdus Hashem, which as the Alter Rebbe will develop the idea, contemplating the unity of Hashem leads us to understand just how close we are to Hashem, and that brings us great joy. So some of you over here might be wondering, Can that really be? Can I really walk around all day and be happy simply by thinking about Hashem's unity and how close I am to Hashem? And by the way, that's an advantage of that which we're going to learn in this Perek over that which we learned 2 chapters ago in chapter 31. Because 2 chapters ago in chapter 31 we learned about the simcha that comes from doing mitzvahs and studying Torah. So although when I have that simcha from doing mitzvahs and studying Torah, so I guess the afterglow of that simcha can also take me throughout the day, even when I'm working or eating or whatever it may be. But over here we're talking about a simcha which is constant. It isn't even dependent upon Torah and mitzvahs. It's the simcha of the knowledge of Hashem's unity, as we'll discuss soon what that means, and the implication of that being this incredible closeness that we share with Hashem.
You know, every minute you do a simcha, it's mitzvah gedola you make. Mitzvah gedola b'simcha. Every second you do a simcha, you're in simcha, you're making a mitzvah.
That's true. But that's the chicken and the egg. What comes first?
Thanks.
How are you? What are you b'simcha about? In other words, you're saying the simcha is a mitzvah, but you first have to do a mitzvah in order to be b'simcha. So what's in Shema?
How's Hashem creates an emotion of simcha?
That's what we want to talk about. I want to get a little hakdama to this perek, a little preface.
You need his boididus.
His boininus, not his boididus.
Oh, his boididus.
Boidinus means contemplation, meditation, right?
Meditation, yeah. His boididus, yeah, excuse me.
Boididus means solitude, right?
Yeah.
We say in Shema, "V'yihavta Hashem Elokecha, b'chol levavcha, u'b'chol nafshecha, u'b'chol meidecha." We have here 3 levels of love. Level number 1 is b'chol levavcha. Level number 2 is b'chol nafshecha. And level number 3 is b'chol meidecha. If you look in the Vayim Shemaya, so there once again we have the first 2 levels. La'avdei, b'chol levavcha, and b'chol nafshecha. To love Hashem with all your heart and with all your soul.
Missing one.
B'chol ma'oidchem. Right, it's missing one. Alter Rebbe talks about that, and L'kutei Torah explains why. Different contexts of the first part of Shema, the second part of Shema, but that's for another time, another day. Because actually today we're not going to talk about B'chol Ma'edcha. Today I want to talk about the difference between B'chol Levavcha and B'chol Nafshecha. And for those of you who have been following somewhat closely in Kriyas HaTorah over the past few weeks, ever since the beginning of Devarim, so you've noticed that the words B'chol Levavchem and B'chol Nafshechem come up many times, many times, where Moshe tells the Eden, he warns them, they have to serve Hashem. B'chol levavchem, b'chol nafshechem, la'avas Hashem Elokecha, la'avdei, b'chol levavchem, b'chol nafshechem. These are words that are repeated again and again throughout Sefer Devarim, specifically in the first few parshas, Devarim through probably Re'eh. It's I don't know if it's in this week's parsha, but specifically in the first 5-6 parshas of the Torah. Because that itself is very instructive. That Moshe Rabbeinu was telling the Yidden, you're going into Eretz Yisrael, Yiddishkeit is not supposed to be mechanical. It's not supposed to be robotic. It's not tell me what to do and let me do it. But Yiddishkeit, serving Hashem is b'chol levavchem, b'chol nafshechem. We're supposed to serve Hashem with all our heart and with all our soul. It's supposed to be with a chayis. It's supposed to be with a gishmak. You know, we're especially relevant to right now. We're in the month of Elul, and as is well known, what's brought down in this farm, that Elul is the Rosh Tevis of Ani l'doidi v'doidi li. Means that I am to my beloved, which is Hashem, and my beloved is to me. And this is a loving relationship with Hashem, a relationship that is characterized by passion and by desire and by love and by enthusiasm, a relationship into which we invest our hearts and our souls. But what's the difference between b'chol levavcha and b'chol nafshecha? It sounds poetic, right? Love Hashem with all your heart and with all your soul. What's the difference? Can I love Hashem with all my heart and without my soul? Can I love Hashem with my soul without my heart? What's the difference between the two of them? So Chassidus explained, based on the Pashup Pshat and the Pasuk, that b'chol nafshecha means, as Rashi says, afilu hu noitelas nafshecha. Rashi brings that down. B'chol nafshecha means that we're expected to love Hashem to the point that we're willing to give up our life for Hashem. So obviously that's a higher level than b'chol levavcha, because it's the second level. We go from the easier to the harder. So on the first level, I could love Hashem b'chol levavcha with all my heart, but I'm not willing to give up my life for Hashem. And then I reach a higher level of love, and that is a b'chol nafshecha, a love in which I'm willing to give up my life for Hashem. So one might think that this is a matter of quantity. It's a scale. How much do you love Hashem? If you love Hashem 64, so then you love Him with all your heart, but you're not willing to give up. But if you move up on the Richter scale or the love scale, whatever it is, and you're at a 95, then suddenly you're willing to give up your life for Hashem.
How's Modecha bigger than Rabba?
We're not getting into how B'chol Meidecha is bigger today. That's a question for a different time. It's bigger. Yes, the truth is, the truth is that Rashi says B'chol Meidecha means with your money. And so Rashi asks, your money, but you're already willing to give up your life? And Rashi says, yeah, there's some people are willing to give up their life, but not their money. Their money is worth to them more than their life. So we see, yeah. You know, it was like the famous joke, the comedian who said, someone came to me and said, your money and your life, and I said, give me a second, let me think, right? So we see that B'chol Meidecha is higher, whatever money is, whatever it represents. But we're not getting into B'chol Meidecha today. But in Chassidus explained that the love of B'chol Levavcha, B'chol Nafshecha, it's not just a matter of one is a greater love. I love Hashem this much. If I love Hashem even more, I'll be willing to give up my life. But it's a different type of love. And because it's a different type of love, therefore, the first love, because of its nature, because of what it is, will not lead someone to give up their life for Hashem. The second type of love, it is the nature of that love. It's a different love. It's not just a stronger love. It's a different love. And because it's a different love, therefore that love will lead a person to be Moshe Nefesh, Al Kiddush Hashem, to give up his life for Hashem. What's the difference? The question becomes, why do I love Hashem? Why do I love Hashem? You go to many people and you ask them, why do you love Hashem? What are they going to answer? What are they like?
Awareness of all the chesed HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
Beautiful. All the chesed that Hashem gave me.
Akaras HaTov.
Think, right? Akaras HaTov.
If you're not aware
Very
of it,
good.
then you can't love Him.
So that's a Ava b'chol levavcha. That's a Ava with all your heart. Why is that? So you love Hashem. Why? Because all the good He gives you. What did He give you? What good did He give you?
Life.
What's that? He gives you life. And He gives you sustenance, and He gives you a good job, and He gives you health, and whatever else He gives you, right?
Everything. All the small things.
All the small things. But if you think into that, the definition of that love is like this. I love life. I love money. I love health. That's my frame of reference, right? And then I say, where is all this coming from? All this is coming from Hashem, so therefore I have to love Hashem because He is the provider of all the things in my life that are important. What's important? My life is important. My livelihood is important. My family is, all these things are important, and Hashem gives them to me. And if I'm truly going to contemplate that will lead me to a tremendous love of Hashem. Because the one who provides for me everything that's important to me is Hashem. But can such a love lead to a person giving up his life? No. If the reason why I love Hashem is because He gives me everything that's important to me, including in my life, the moment Hashem says, okay, now give me everything that's important to me. Whoa, 1 second, I don't love you anymore. The reason why I loved you was because you gave me all these things, because you gave me my life. So what do I love more? My life.
That's right.
So in order to have a love which is b'chol nafshecha, a love which will allow me to give up my life for Hashem, it's a different type of love. It's a love where everything in my life isn't as important as Hashem. Why do I love Hashem? Because He's more important to me than everything that I have, including my life. Not because He provides them. Because if my love for Him is only because He provides them, then at the end of the day, what's important to me is all that which He provides. Ava b'chol nafshecha, a love of b'chol nafshecha, is understanding that everything in this world is nothing. My life is nothing, and my livelihood is nothing, and my family is nothing, and my money is nothing, and everything. And When I say nothing, nothing in comparison to Hashem. Hashem is so much greater than all of that. He is so much more important than all of that, that the greatest thing that I can have in life is Him. And if that is the greatest thing that I can have in my life, is my connection with and my relationship to Hashem, then if maintaining that connection and maintaining that relationship means giving up everything, so big deal. So be it. They're not important. They're not nearly as important as what's really important as my relationship with Hashem.
But you can't have a relationship without all these necessities.
The Torah tells you, which means it's not denigrating the first level of love. We're not, I know that we're contrasting it. At the end of the day, we're human beings. Human beings. And there's this level of love, and there's a higher level of love, and we're meant, and as mentioned on many occasions, it's not as if, are you going to have a love? Depends on the time, depends on the moment, depends on where I am at the, maybe a little like this, a little like that. But ultimately, the love of B'chol Nafshecha is so much of a greater love. It's a pure love. It's a love when you realize that everything in this world is kiloi, is mamish, the whole, what do you say? The ganze Welt is hevel avon. This whole world is nothing. It's what do we say we're approaching the Yom Neiroim already. Adam, right? What's that? Adam Yisaydemi offer, V'seifel offer, right? And then we're compared to Ka'anan. What's the lashon? We're like a cloud that flies away, like a wind. We're nothing. What is real? What is lasting? What is eternal is Hashem. My relationship with Hashem is more important than everything. That is the ultimate love to Hashem. Okay, there's another level, but that is much higher than B'chol Levavcha. Yes.
That love of Hashem is a life. When you're saying you're willing to give up your life, you're giving up one type of a life for another type of a life, and that is a life. That bond with the Kodesh Baruch Hu is a life. So we're willing to give up. You're giving up a klipa life, a nothing life, for a life. It's not like you're giving up your life for nothing.
Right. I mean, you're realizing the ultimate value is Hashem, and it's more valuable than everything here in this world. And so you're saying that you want to know there's a deeper love, which is that my love for Him isn't even because of there's this more value, less value. It's the most deepest, essential love that there is, and you're touching on B'chol Moedecha, which we said we're not going to go to.
But still, even on this level of nafshecha, that's life. That's life that you're choosing. You're just willing to give up a...
Correct. B'chol nafshecha, at the end of the day, is not a complete negation of self. In other words, absolutely. B'chol meidecha is. I wasn't planning on going there, but now that you mention it, that is b'chol meidecha.
So are we scared of losing our life, or losing our family, that they're going to be in pain when we leave? What would we be more afraid of? Because this Hashem, He's going to take us anyways. So I can see that, again, I agree, the relationship might even be stronger in the world to come. But is it a selfish fear that we lose out what we have now? That's not a big deal, like you said, because it's going to disappear anyway? Or are we more fearful for our family, leaving them behind?
It's a good question.
I don't know. I thought about it the first time. Because it's going to be painful. You don't want to leave them behind because they have
Right.
They depend upon that.
At the end of the day, for a Yid, our relationship with Hashem goes beyond our relationship with family. It's the one most important thing that there is. Avraham Avinu, when he was asked to sacrifice his son, he said, "Hineni." That was right. So why am I bringing this up over here? Because it's important to understand this idea before we even start this perek, because we're going to be talking here about simcha, and we're saying that what is simcha? Simcha is thinking about hakol sayam Hashem, achdus Hashem, and for many of us this is foreign. I mean, it's hard to relate to. It's easier to learn what we learn on most farim. You should be b'simcha because Hashem gives you all that you need and all that you have. It's so much easier to maintain our frame of reference, our value system of what's important and what's not important, and work Hashem into that. And have a relationship with Hashem based on our current frame of reference and based on what's valuable to me and what's important to me and what's not. And it's possible. That's the Ahuva b'chol levavcha. And Tanya here is asking us to take a little leap. and saying, you want to experience the true joy of the Neshamah. It's not a matter of loving Hashem more, it's loving Hashem differently. It's moving a level higher. It's moving a level higher and having a relationship with Hashem to the point that my joy isn't that I have a big bank account which Hashem gave me. My joy is Hashem. My joy is Hashem. And it's obviously a madrega, it's obviously a level. But this is what Chassidus is all about. Chassidus is about that which we learn should change us. Should change us. Not only that I should recognize that everything that I have is from Hashem, but my whole value system changes. What's important to me? What do I cherish? What is the most valuable thing that I have is my relationship with Hashem. And the more we learn Chassidus, the more we learn this Sfarim, the more our souls catch on fire. And it definitely, as Dr. Rabbi says, it takes, the words are yamek machshavti, it takes thought, it takes contemplation, but ultimately the end goal is to reach a place where we're living in a different place. Because to a certain extent, you can have a frum yid, and lahavdil, a goy, they're both in this world. One wears a black hat and a jacket, and a short jacket, a long jacket, a garter, whatever it may be. Then there's the goy. And obviously they seem to be different in every single way in the world. Like this one, does what he does. And lahavdil yid goes to daven, he learns, whatever. But if you ask the question, what's important to them? It's possible to say that they share a lot in common. And the ultimate goal of being a chassid is not only that I behave differently than the person on the street, and that when it comes sukkahs, I shake some, a lemon and a palm branch, but that my whole value system is different. I'm a different person. That which that person treasures and values to me is not important. And it's a high madrega, there's no question, but that's something we should be working towards. We should be working towards not only, again, changing our behavior, but changing our value system. That our relationship with Hashem should be of the sort that it literally is important to us and gives us happiness. Rabbi Moshe Feinstein, he has a vart. It's in a Sefer Darash Moshe in two different places. He says that, it's somewhat famous, some of you might have heard of this. He says that the Yidden who came to America in the early 20th century, and they were Bali Mesiras Nefesh to keep Shabbos. As we know, keeping Shabbos back in those days, we're talking about the 1910s, 1920s. We can't imagine the kind of Mesiras Nefesh that entailed. These were people who would have a different job every week. If they were lucky, they'd have a different job every single week. Because on Friday, when they told that they weren't coming back, on Shabbos, they weren't coming tomorrow, they were fired. Or when they came back Monday morning, they were fired. But he says it's interesting that all those people, Ramesha says, who spoke about the fact that they had this tremendous Mesiras Nefesh for it to be Shomer Shabbos, none of the children remained from. Why is that? The parents had such Mesiras Nefesh. The children, right? Not only should be rewarded, but you think also the children would emulate their parents. So the Moshe says, it's such incredible insight that he had. He says, they didn't. It's not that the children, abandoned Yiddishkeit and Frumkeit despite the fact of the Mesiras Nefesh of the parents, but it's because of it. Because of the parents' Mesiras Nefesh, because the parents boasted about their Mesiras Nefesh. I don't mean boasted in a negative way, but they would say, talk about the Mesiras Nefesh they had. The children look at the parents and say, wow, it's so difficult to keep Shabbos. This religion is so difficult. My parents are tzaddikim, they're doing it, but I'm not interested in a difficult life. I'd rather have an easy life. And they respected their parents. They didn't reject their parents out of malice or because they felt that their parents were wrong. They held their parents in very high esteem, but they did not want a difficult life for themselves. Says Moshe, how do you keep your children Shomer Shabbos? Not by saying "Es schwer zu sein a Yid," but by saying how lucky I am to be a Yid. The moment you say it's difficult for me to keep Shabbos. The kid says, well, then why do I want that? But if the message that we give our children is, what a gift that we have Shabbos. Ashreinu matov chalkeinu. That we have one day a week when we connect to the Eibishter, when we have O'Einig Ruchni, we have this incredible spiritual delight where we sit by a Shabbos table and we sing Zmiris and we sing Nigunim and we speak Divrei Torah and we daven and we don't have a concern on our head because it's a day which is Shabbos La Hashem, belongs to Hashem. The children look at that and say, that's what I want. They don't want Mesiras Nefesh. They want the Tainuk. So what's the difference between this person and that person? To one person, what's important is the money and the livelihood, and Shabbos is a burden. You have to do it because you're a Yid. Another person, what's really important in life is Shabbos. That's the B'chol Nafshecha. It's not that what's really... B'chol Nafshecha means that the most important thing, the most valuable thing to me in my life is that I'm able to keep Shabbos. That's more important than all the tzaris that I have. Don't pale in comparison to the fortune that I have to be able to keep Shabbos. So is keeping Shabbos Mesiras Nefesh? That's Mesiras Nefesh. So with that, we'll move on in the Perek. A little of a lengthy introduction, but I just felt it was necessary to open yourselves up. We have to open, as we learn this Perek, we have to open ourselves up to understanding that there's higher existence, and this higher existence has the opportunity in it to bring about an incredible amount of simcha. Let's keep on going. We'll start again, 3 lines from the top of the chapter, page 82. Azai then, when a person feels that he needs simcha, Azai then, Yamik machshavte, a person should deeply contemplate, v'yitzayir b'sichloi, and envision in his mind, ubinasa, in his understanding. In other words, actually to try to picture it. Eich, inyan yechuda yizbarach amiti, the idea of the true unity of Hashem. What is the true unity of Hashem? So the Parshat idea, when we say Hashem Echad, the simple idea is that there's one Hashem, there's only one God. Yechuda Yizbarach Ha'amiti, the true Achdus Hashem, the true unity of Hashem, is that there is only one. There's only one is, and that is Hashem. Nothing else exists. Ein Oid Mulvadei. There's nothing else other than Him. That's Yechuda Yizbarach Ha'amiti. The true Yichud is how the Eibishter is the only entity, the only true entity. So take a moment to contemplate, or more than a moment, how the Eibishter, He fills all the worlds. All the worlds are completely suffused with Hashem. Even this world, this lowly world upon which we dwell, is completely filled with the Eibishter's glory. Vikula kamei, and before Hashem, everything is kiloch shiv mamish, is mamish like nothing. Vehu levadehu, so therefore He is the only one, be'elyonim u'v'tachtoinim mamish, in the higher worlds and in the lower worlds. He is literally the only one, kimoi shehaya levadeh, just as He was the only entity in existence, koidem sheshes mebreshus, before the 6 days of creation. And also in this very place, in which was created this world, Hashemayim va'aretz, the heavens and the earth of Chaltzavam, and all and everything that inhabits the heavens and the earth. He alone filled this area before the world was created. V'gam ata kain. The exact same thing is true now. Nothing changed. Hu levada, He is the only entity that exists, beli shum shinui klal, without nothing changed. Why is that? In other words, those are nice words, but what does that mean? There is a world. We exist. Because, again, and this is just going to be a small little, in 5 lines we're going to review that which we learned at length in two prakim earlier in Perek Chaf and Perek Chaf Aleph. From there, because all creations are absolutely bottled, completely nullified, essentially nullified. Just like the bittul, the nullification of the words and the letters which comprise our dibur and our machshava, our speech and our thoughts. As we know, when we speak, we use words, and also when we think using language and using words. So just like these words are bottled b'mekoidon v'sharshan, they're nullified in their source. What is the source of what is their source? Umuhus hanefesh v'atzmusa. This is the substance and the essence of the soul. Shehein eser b'chineseha, which they are the 10 components of the soul. Chachma, bina, v'das, chulu, the wisdom, understanding, knowledge, etc. The etc. refers also to the emotions. She'ein bahem oisius adayin. Within the essence of the soul, which is the person's intellect and emotions, over there are no words. Koidim shemislapshes b'levush hamachshava, before they come down into the person's thought. Commission Zbar b'peir chaf v'chaf aleph, as explained in chapters 20 and 21, ba'arichus at length, ayin sham. Take a look over there.
So your soul creates the letters Neshamah.
Well, a quick review what we learned over there, just like the Alter Rebbe gave a quick review. We'll also give a quick review. But again, if you want more at length, you should go you can download the previous Shiur. The human soul works through a process. And this process, is mibsari echza alika, that when we look at ourselves, we can also envision Hashem, because we are a reflection of Hashem. That's why we're called Adam. Adam, as the Shallah tells us, Adam is from the words Adam el Elyin, that we are similar to Hashem. To a certain extent, obviously. There are limitations to that, but in general, when we look at our spiritual constitution, we have an idea also of the way the divine system works above. In the human system, so when we want to communicate, and we're going to be focused here on speaking and communication, because the world is a product of Hashem's communication. Hashem is speaking. Ba'asara mamares nivra el. The world was created through Hashem's speech. Vayomer Elokim yihi oir. God said, "Let there be light." Vayi oir, and there was light. It doesn't say that Hashem said there should be light and He created light. And there was light. In other words, the world is a byproduct of Hashem's dibur. Hashem spoke this world into existence. So we're going to focus on dibur. So dibur, words are made up of dibur. Speech is made up of words, and words are made up of letters. Where do words come from? Words come from the mind, where a person thinks. When a person thinks, also over there are words and letters. We think using words, as we discussed, I think back then. That's why we can. What language do you think in? Right? What language do you think in? Hebrew. See? So he thinks in Hebrew. Everyone thinks. Everyone thinks in a different language. Usually, you think in your native language. So you think in a language. Now, what language do you feel in?
English.
In English. You feel in English. So when we feel, there are no words over there. You don't love in a word. There are no words over there. So that the process is, again. So there's dibur, there's machshava. Higher than machshava, what makes you think about something is because you have a feeling about something. There's always, without getting too deeply into it, thoughts are always products of feelings. But the feelings are wordless. There are no words in feelings. The words begin in the thoughts. And higher than the feeling is the understanding, is the awareness. You can't have a feeling about something until you're aware of it. And the awareness also isn't really in words. Awareness is something which is, it's an intellectual a concept. When you think about an awareness you're using words to think about it, but the awareness itself is beyond words. The understanding you have is beyond words.
Is awareness chachma?
Sorry? Yeah, Chachma. So if you understand 2 plus 2 is 4, for example, okay? So me and you can both be thinking about an idea, and we'll use different words to think about it. We'll speak about it, we'll use different words to speak about it. But my knowledge that 2 plus 2 is 4, and your knowledge that 2 plus 2 is 4 is the exact same. Because it's not constituted of words, it's an idea that's in your head. So in the persons, in what we call the essence of the soul, which is the seichel and midas, the intellect and emotion, which is beyond words. Are there no words over there? Where did the words come from? When you're speaking, the words came from your emotions, they came from your intellect. But over there, the words are not felt. There, what's felt is you. Your understanding and your emotions. The words might be a byproduct of them, but within you there are words, but they're so insignificant and insubstantial that they're completely nullified in their source. Now when we speak, our words they gain a life of their own, a reality of their own. They separate from us. You ever heard the expression, your words will come back to haunt you? That means that your words, they left, they assumed a life and they come back to haunt you. So our words separate from us. But Hashem's words don't separate from Him because there's nowhere to go. He's everywhere. So the words constantly are within Hashem. So within Hashem, the words, and again, these words are very important because these words are the world. What is the world? Ultimately, is the 10 utterances, Hashem uttering them into existence. So the words, as they are in Hashem, they're completely subsumed in Him, just like by the human being, the letters and the words that exist within the feeling and within the mind, which are completely almost non-existent. So to Hashem, the whole world, which is created through His utterances, is all just completely subsumed within Him and nullified to Him. That's one example the Alter Rebbe gives. Let's move on. And as is also explained elsewhere in Shar Yichud V'Amunah, the second part of Tanya, Mashal Gashmi Laza, a physical example of this. The example we gave now was a spiritual example. The words and the letters and the seichel and the midas. When you talk about the nullification, the insignificance of the rays and the light of the sun, while it's still in the sun, in its source, in its source, which is the orb, which is the sun, sheberakia, in the sky. It's no question that also in the sun, what you have over there, there's the light of the sun, there's the radiance of the sun. And not only that, over there the light of the sun and the radiance of the sun is even stronger than its illumination and radiance in this world, because it's stronger, it's closer. But when you look at the sun, you don't say, wow, look, there's the sun and its rays. It's the sun. If you're looking, you see sometimes you see a ray of sun that's breaks through the cloud. You're like, oh, look at that ray, it's beautiful. But you don't look at the sun and say, look, there's the sun, and look at the rays. The rays you only notice outside the sun. Not when you look at the sun itself, which we shouldn't be doing, as we all know from 2 weeks ago, right? We're not supposed to look at the sun itself. But if one were to look at the sun, then you wouldn't notice that the fact that there's also the light and the rays of the sun, because you're looking at the sun itself. Shoshana over there in the sun itself, it is completely nullified in its source, and it's as if it doesn't exist because it's in its source. Without going too much into the philosophy over here, what do we have over here? We should know that everything in this world is merely there's nothing but Hashem. So you see a table. What is this table? This table really is letters. That's sorry about Maris. It's Hashem's words breathing it into existence. And those letters are completely part of Hashem. They never left Hashem. They're like the letters which are the thoughts of our thoughts and words before they even became thoughts and words, like while they're still in the mind and in the heart. So everything in this world is Hashem.
We said by Aseret HaDibrot, when Hashem said the first and the second Mamre, Bnei Israel saw the letter, they heard and saw.
And what happened?
Otiyot Parchot.
And what happened?
Then they couldn't take it in.
That's right. Perek Lamed Vav, chapter 36. We'll get there. Okay. Kacham Mamish, this exactly is the same thing as Derech Mashal Hu Bitlo Ilam Umaloyoi, is the bitl of this world and everything that's in it, the Metzius. It's essentially bottle, essentially nullified, Lagabi Mikoire, to its source, Shehu Erin Seif Baruch Hu, which is the infinite light of Hashem, Commission Nizboyer Sham Barichus, as explained there at length. So everything is Hashem, except for, what's the one thing that isn't Hashem?
Chutz mirat shamayim. Kol b'yedei shamayim, chutz mirat shamayim.
Right. Related point. The one thing that isn't part of Hashem, if I may say so, if I may say it this way, is my awareness.
Your what?
My awareness. That might be the fact that everything's Hashem, but I'm not aware of that. What does it mean I'm not aware of it? I've learned the Perek in Tanya. I know the Perek. That's not. I don't mean that I don't understand it. But ultimately, my awareness rebels against this concept. The notion that I don't exist. And the notion that everything around me is just Einoid Movade, there's nothing but Hashem. And that is as the Alter Rebbe says later on in Sharichud Vamuna, that we know that Hashem has the two primary emotions are Chesed and Gvura. We say Hakel HaGodol v'Hagibor. HaGodol is the Midas HaChesed, and V'Hagibor is the Midas HaGvura. Now, Hashem's Midas HaChesed is infinite and unlimited. It is with Hashem's Midas HaChesed that He creates the worlds. And He creates all the infinite amount of creations that there are, from human beings to the lowliest worm that's wandering around the middle of the earth somewhere. No human mind can grasp the greatness of Hashem's Chesed. No human mind can grasp how it's possible for everything for Hashem's Chesed to create in the way that it does. And then there's Hashem's Midas HaGvura. Hashem's Midas HaGvura is Hashem's ability to hide, to withhold and to hide. And that also is infinite and we can't understand it. How it's possible that everything and everywhere where we look around, it's all Hashem. And at the same time, we have no awareness of it whatsoever, is mind-blowing. If only our eyes would be able to open up and see the truth of the world, we'd realize that Einoid Movade, it's nothing but Hashem. But that's only our perspective. From Hashem's perspective, He's everywhere. The fact that Hashem is hidden, it's a one-way mirror. It's a one-way mirror. It's an optical illusion which we have, and that is, by the way, that is the definition of this world. We say that Olam Haza HaTachton. This is the lowest world. What makes it the lowest world? The lowest world means that we have zero perception of Hashem. But that's not the truth. From Hashem's perception, there's no such thing as higher worlds, lower worlds. He's everywhere. Everything is the same. But we live in a world where our perception is, Ochin Ata Kil Misnater, Hashem hides. So what's our job here in this world? Is to remove the curtain. The mental curtain. And to tune into the reality of Eidel Movade. Do I have to bring Hashem into my life? Do I have to get closer to Hashem? No. I just have to take off that veil which is not allowing me to realize and understand and feel and be conscious of just how close Hashem is to me. The moment that I'm doing what the Alter Rebbe says here in this perek, Yamik Machshavti, that I take the time to contemplate, to deeply contemplate, and to be mitzayer in my mind. The idea of Achdus Hashem, what have I accomplished? I've removed the one last barrier to Achdus Hashem. Hashem is one, everything is Hashem. The only barrier to Achdus Hashem in my life is my awareness. The moment I move it, then everything is already, everything is Eibishter. Everything I look at, everything I come in contact with, it's all godliness. V'hinei, 12 lines in the bottom. 12. V'hinei kishiyamik bazeh harba. When a person takes the time to think about this and remove the barrier. In other words, the person really gets it. The idea of Achdus Hashem permeates the mind. It shapes the way you view yourself and you view the world, or at this point, your non-self and the non-world. Yismach liboy, your heart will rejoice. V'sagel nafshay, your soul will be happy. Avgilas veranin, with incredible joy, b'chalei v'nefesh u'ma'oid, with one's whole heart, with one's soul, with one's whole being. Be'emunah zu, with this emunah ki rabbahi. It is so amazing. Why is it so amazing? Ki hi kirvas alikim mamish. Because then you realize just how close you are to Hashem. You don't have to fly up to heaven. You don't have. Hashem is here. Hashem is here with you. This is the whole person. The reason why he was created. And the reason why all the worlds were created. The higher worlds, the lower worlds. Because Hashem wants a dwelling place in this lower world, as will be explained later in chapter 36 at length. What does it mean that Hashem wants a dir b'tachtonim, that He wants a dwelling place over here in this world? He is here. He is here. But what does it mean? It means He wants to be here in a revealed way. He wants to be felt over here. He wants to be sensed over here. And where does that start? Later on the chapters in 36 and 37 and on. We're going to talk about that. That's why we do mitzvahs. When you do a mitzvah with a physical item, so you're making a dir b'tachtonim, you're infusing, you're revealing the godliness and infusing the godliness within that object. But over here, it all starts within the person. Where does Hashem really want to be present? What does Hashem really, really want? What is His deepest desire? He wants to be present within every single one of us over here. What do you mean He wants to be? He is present. So what does it mean that He wants to be present? He wants a dira. He wants to live within you, in your home. What does that mean? He wants to be felt. And that's up to you. Do you choose to notice Hashem? Do you choose to feel Hashem? Do you choose to understand that Hashem is here, there, and everywhere, and all around you? So when you have this mind shift, and understand, and not only understand, but it sinks in and permeates this idea of Achdus Hashem, the oneness of Hashem, what you're actually doing is you're fulfilling the purpose of your creation, the creation of all the worlds. The purpose of the creation of all the worlds is that you should get the idea of Ein Oid Milvadeh. And that means that Hashem is within you and present within you. V'hine, kama gedola simchas hadyet ishval anashim. How great is the joy of a simple person, and even more so, a low life. Biskarvusay lemelach basar v'dam, when he gets close to a human king. That's a big joy. Imagine the privilege of being able to meet a human king. But how about take it further? What if the king decides not to invite you to his palace? But he says, I want to stay in your house. He values you, he values your home, he doesn't consider you small, he doesn't consider you insignificant. He wants to come living in your house. The Kalvachoymer lein kates, how much more so, infinitely so. Lekirvas v'diras melach malchi amlachim hakadosh baruch hu. Closeness to Hashem, the King of all kings, and Hashem living with you. Ukidiksiv, as the pasuk says, Mi uzeh asher arav liboy lageshes elaynu Hashem. The pasuk says, who even considers, has the chutzpah to consider to come close to me, and yet, that's what Hashem says, and yet Hashem is there living with you in your home. What a tremendous simcha. But again, the only way you can experience the simcha is if the idea that Hashem is with me in my home and Eidel is something which has permeated me and taken me through, and the understanding that this whole world is garnished and nothing is important. So therefore, if it's nothing, the only thing that's important is Hashem. And where is Hashem? He's all around me. I'm so close to Hashem, and that can lead to tremendous simcha, as we'll continue Mr. Hashem next class.
Lzchus